To those of you who earn a good salary in a low-stress job, what do you do? I'm a civilian security guard on an army base in the middle of nowhere surrounded by thousands of square miles of empty desert. I made $60K this year for watching tumbleweeds and jackrabbits. What's Area 51 like this time of year? 43, light winds, clear skies, and there is a coyote yipping in the distance. Operator at a nuke plant. Make up to $180K depending on how much overtime I work. If I don't work OT, I'll make $140K and only work 32 to 48 hours a week. It's shift work which can take a toll, but it's a union job and we're treated very well. It's low stress in a sense, where if you can pass the monthly exams demonstrating your knowledge of nuclear plant operations you shouldn't be concerned. But if you're not as book smart as the rest of the crew, you can have some problems passing the initial training you receive and the continuing. So moral of the story, if you can pass the training, it's very low stress. I install 1 kitchen per week. I used to try for 2 to 3 but the stress isn't worth it, and there's a hell of a lot more money in it these days compared to 10 to 15 years ago. Edit textbooks online. Have worked from home for over 15 years. How did you get into this line of work? Wife and I have graduate degrees in journalism and humanities. The rest was really right time, right place just as the publishing houses were transitioning from paper-based galley proofs to computer platform content. The subject of the books doesn't matter as long as it's not higher math or other disciplines that are symbol-based. Combined, we pull in about $200,000 a year, but that's after many years of building a network in the very small industry centered in NYC. We visit Manhattan about twice a year to look into people's faces and cement more work. I sometimes forget how lucky I am. Firefighter. When I say low stress, I mean that when my shift is over, I don't have any looming deadlines or unfinished work waiting for me the next day. When I'm working, there can be moments of pretty high stress. It's not chronic stress though, just bursts of occasional crazy high stress. Sounds like the right job for me. What are the requirements beside being in shape? And a mustache? In my state, you must be between 21 and 36 years old and have a high school degree. Also, no felony convictions. It is massively competitive though, so realistically most will need more than the minimum to get hired. When I was hired, there was 450 people that applied for my department, and they hired 6. You'll massively help your odds if you're a paramedic. Military experience or a college degree helps too. Plus, working as a volunteer firefighter somewhere and already having the certs that go along with that is another leg up. Barber for 18 years. I started off in cosmetology school and went back to be a barber. Women's hair is fun for a while, but I love cutting a fresh, sharp fade. I change light bulbs and very minor electrical work for $24 an hour at a VA hospital. Summer job? I was a tree planter all through 9 years of school. After a few summers' experience, I was making about $16,000 and spending almost nothing in 2 months. If you can handle the weather and have the right attitude, it was no stress at all. Wake up, eat, put trees in the ground, eat, sleep, repeat. Now that I have a master's and 15 years' experience in my real job, I still don't make quite as much as I did back then. Was it hard on your body? I don't mind physical work, but knowing my decrepit ass, my back will give out after a few months. Not as bad as people think, as long as you're smart. Sysadmin? If it ain't broke, I don't fix it. Especially on a Friday. Read-only Friday. Librarian, best job ever. I know this might sound rude, but what do librarians actually do? No offense meant at all. To me it looks like they organize books only, but there has to be more than that, right? Mostly, they should be able to show people interested in it how to research about determined topics. They are utterly well versed in research, where to find credible and respectable sources of information, how to recollect and analyze data, how to do citations, etc. Some of them are versed in statistics, and some of them are even notaries, depending on your place of residence and local legislation. So basically, we have these super competent people sitting there with most people don't even know what they do. None taken. I'm sitting here trying to list everything I do. Collection development, books, music, movies, video games, tech devices to name a few, circulation and cataloging, providing assistance to patrons' needs and questions of every variety, information specialists, research specialists, assistants with technology, teach classes and workshops to parents and children. That is just the tip of the iceberg. I've helped patrons write letters, Skype with loved ones, helped one gentleman get new teeth so he could find employment. The list goes on and on. I'm a sushi chef. The work I do carries some stress, but the restaurant is completely laid back. Just so everyone knows, the restaurant industry is generally quite stressful, and anyone looking for a low-stress workplace should probably avoid it altogether. Kudos to OP for finding success and avoiding the insanity. I guess my job is not low-stress or high-paying to most people, but it checks both boxes for me as a single 24-year-old male. I work rural EMS in Canada. My schedule is 96 hours on followed by 96 hours off. In other words, I work for 4 straight days and then get 4 days off. I live in a big city, but the town that I work in is 1 hour and 40 minutes away. So my commute is not terrible when you consider that I only need to make the drive once every 4 days. When I am actually at work, I can do whatever I want as long as we don't get a call. My company sets us up with a nice staff house, satellite TV, Wi-Fi, and a decent gym. I spend my days playing video games with my coworkers. There are 4 of us on shift, watching TV, movies, cooking, eating, working out, taking a nap, shooting the shit with my coworkers, etc. If we do get a call, we have 8 minutes to respond. So I can lounge around in pajamas all day if I want, and if I need to run an errand in town, I can usually get it done without getting more than 8 minutes away from the station. The calls can be kind of shitty, lots of highway accidents and farming accidents, but I find the really shitty ones are few and far between. Most calls are just driving people who don't feel well to the hospital. But I do enjoy the tough calls because they challenge me to make quick decisions and use my skills. In 96 hours, we usually average about 5 to 6 calls. However, I have literally worked 96 hours without a single call on more than one occasion. Regardless, I never take the work home with me. I make around $70,000 per year with good benefits, and there are lots of opportunities to pick up extra shifts, which are paid at double time. College professor. If you find a field you love, you get to talk about your favorite thing for 15 hours a week, earn the income of a full-time job, and get several months off a year. Quotes because you use that time for grading and prepping stuff for the next semester. And of course you work longer than 15 hours a week, but what that work consists of varies widely. If community college, it's pretty chill, mostly meetings and waiting for students to see you. Research positions vary in responsibilities. Specialized schools could be chill or more demanding, but there's potential for the majority of your time outside the classroom to be up to you and how you spend it. Isn't getting a job as a professor insanely difficult? I've spoken to a few of my TAs, who are in the latter years of their graduate school, and they've said that, in history, there are maybe a handful of positions which open up due to retirement death, and that tenure is very difficult to get. Yes, it is extremely competitive. That's putting it mildly. It's mind-bogglingly competitive. I was on a search committee maybe a decade ago, and we put up high barriers to apply, multiple peer-reviewed publications, monograph, excellent teaching evals, conference impact minimum, etc. We had hundreds of qualified applicants, and the chair eliminated some of the best ones by instituting a recent grad qualifier. They did this halfway through, and murdered off some exceptionally qualified applicants who were applying from less prestigious, but TTT, positions. In the humanities, around 5% of PhDs will secure a tenure-track job. The job market is brutal. I'm a civil servant, specifically a staff analyst. I deal mainly with contract administration. Seriously, take the tests. I am a medical radiation technologist. I think my job is one of the least stressful. We don't work long hours like nurses and doctors, and only main priority is to take diagnostic images of patients, but once we're done, they are taken away by porters, so we spend little time on patients. At the end of the day, when we finish our hours, we just head home and relax. I find it a relaxing job, gets easier the better your skill set, and there's usually people to help you. This is strictly for X-rays only, not CT or MRI, of which is more stressful since you're on a schedule. I kind of like my job. Retirement actuary. $90K per year plus bonus. 5 years in the industry so far. Lots of interesting projects and minimal stress. Actuarial is a pretty tough field to get into. What happens to all the would-be actuaries that couldn't do the tests? They become accountants. I'm AP.A for a really high-end real estate agent. First few months was stressful, constantly trying to work out how he operates, but now I have it worked out. I get everything done in advance for him and spend most of my day chatting shit with others in the office, drinking coffee and going on Reddit. I fucking despise working. I've always hated it. I thought I would grow out of it, but at 27 I just seem to dislike it even more. So to find a job that I can be excellent at with minimum effort and stress that pays me well is a fucking dream. I also start early and don't take lunch, so I'm home in good time to my doggo. I design circuits for avionics guidance systems. If you know what you're doing, it's low stress, and I'm 23 making $75,000 in the low-cost Midwest. Just here to say I love these threads. It's always soothing to know I have options in the future if the need be. On the other hand, reading all of these easy, well-paying jobs makes me feel even more worthless than I do already, because I feel as though I can't even do the simplest ones without issues. What do you do to earn well in a low-stress job? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.